What is going on, beautiful faces? Happy Friday to everybody, or whatever. Yeah, it's Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. Vernon Brown here, bringing you Happy Meals every single day, 8:45 Eastern, 7:45 Central, teaching you to be happy, healthy, and everything in between. So yesterday, actually this week, I've been loving the love. I got to give a huge shout out to people who've been taking the time to send me comments, to let me know, hey, give this a go, or hey, have you thought about doing that? I love those comments. It really does help me to kind of make things more laser focused. So I dig that. No, but anyway, I said this joke the other day, and I don't know why I think it's hilarious, but I'm gonna do it again. All right, so tell me, why does Pavlov have such soft hair? Because he uses good conditioner. Completely silly, completely stupid, but I love that. All right, so today we're trying to figure out, we're going to be talking about why exactly are you stuck? We're raising standards, we're getting things prepped up, because we're going to be talking about that beautiful subject called relationships, sex, love, everything in between, cuddling, bonding, all that good stuff. These are the things that make life great. But what we're starting with is you, because that's what you're bringing into this relationship. Your experiences, your standards, your past, your behaviors, all of those things start right here. So we're breaking these things down, but why are people stuck? And this came from a comment that I got, had a really great conversation. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. You know who you are. About when you're raising your standards out there and you have the desire to raise your standards, you will get stuck, or some people get stuck. I did a really great training yesterday. And I'm not saying it's great, just the feedback that I got from it yesterday. It was an hour-long feedback, hour-long training. I went in and I just showed people how to scale things in their business, how to get things to the next level. And this particular training was how I took someone from 112,000 a year to 112,000 a month. And one of the big questions that came out of that was a comment that came to me also was, I am stuck. Now, here's one of the cures for being stuck, especially when you're raising your standards. No matter where you are stuck at in your life, no matter where, and some people are not going to like this, some people are going to bother by this, but it is reality. This isn't things that you necessarily want to hear, but it's important for me to say. And this is no judgment. This is just looking at the facts, looking at the outcome, looking at that end game that you're trying to build. And a reason why people are getting stuck is because you are not spending any time with this. You are not spending any time. It's a fantastic, thing. I recommend everyone look this up. And it was this research that's done when people are taking these courses. It could be, better copywriting, better health. It could be even doing things that we're talking about right now, owning your happy, and just really leveling yourself up. All these people buy these courses, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 80% or more of people are taking these courses on being better. Excuse me. They're buying these courses on being better, but you ain't doing nothing with it, which is just so bizarre to me, which goes back to what I was talking about the other day about information. You have got to invest time. If something is not growing, it's because you are not taking the time investing in it. I can promise you that. If it is not growing, changing, becoming what you want, you aren't taking enough time with it. Been in the facilitation yesterday in this training, and I'm sitting there, I'm talking, and I even challenge every single person in the group. If your business is not growing, I'm willing to bet I can ask 5 questions that it will tell you exactly what is going on. No one took me up on that, because in reality, everyone knew. Everyone did know. One of the key ways is you can check to see how people are spending their time. Let me say it like this in business terms. If you are investing, let's just say you have the aspiration to become a millionaire, right? To grow your financial portfolio, to grow your financial worth, your net worth, and you aren't taking any money to investing in it, especially in the stock that you have found that has been shown to increase in value, 10% every year, 10% in minimum every year. And what we're talking about right now, it's like a 50% increase in how things will start happening in your life. But if you aren't investing money, back to what I was talking about, if you're not investing money in a stock that will perform, it will do it, and you don't put any money into it, how much money are you going to get back on your return? How much? Goose egg. It's the same exact thing when you're working on trying to raise your level and raise your standards up. Sure, you have the desire, right? Sure, you have the interest. Sure, you see the benefit, but how much time are you taking? Sometimes people will write down goals and they will never go back to those. Never go back. I sent a message this morning to one of my clients, how those goals looking? Tell me how you're working towards things. And the reason why I'm constantly reminding people of these things, because if you don't keep it top of mind and have those intentions set forth to check and invest into that stock, putting the time in every single day, taking those 15 minutes to literally see, hey, how are things going? How am I staying on course? How do you expect it to grow? You're not investing anything into it. If you don't invest, how can you expect it to grow? I was at the gym this morning and I see so many people, they go to the gym, but they're going through the motions. I'm not making fun of anybody, but we're all there at the same amount of time. I take an hour, 5 to 7 days, 5 to 6 days a week, every single day. And it's not that it's a great amount of time, but it's consistent, intentional effort and action. I has to grow. I am forcing a change because the amount of time into it. It is a universal law. If you are spending time putting in that work, you have to get an output that is matching what you're working towards. There are very few places in this world where you can invest your time and get a directly proportionate output. The gym is one of them. Exercise is one of them. Overall, your health is one of them. You will never be upset that you did 20 crunches or walked 2 miles. You won't be upset about that. You might complain, sure, that's another topic, but you can't be surprised by the output that you're going to get. Better cardiovascular health, lower heart rate, slower heart rate. You'll just have all sorts of things across the board. Why? Because you're investing in your health. With parenting is much bigger than just, hey, I provide food and I have shelter. It's more than that. It's the amount of time you invest. How much time are you taking to understand how your child thinks? This isn't judgment. How much time are you sitting back trying to understand what they could be struggling with? How much time have you taken to understand how much where your child's perspective comes from? Yesterday, had a great moment, a great time. Me and my son are hanging out, and this is the term of investment. And I'm just talking about overall on a global scale when it comes to just being an overall good human being. But I'm really going to the point about raising your standards, about getting exactly what you want out of life. Yesterday, did not expect it. My son, love him to death. He's my gingerbread. He's my dude. And we're sitting there doing homework. I post his stuff on Facebook. I post his stuff on my social about my son. Why? Because these are important. He's so everything to me. This isn't Facebook fantasies. Not knocking people. I understand I'm not knocking other people's platform. That's not how I roll. This is something that I love to do. I'm excited to be a parent. Yes, it is hard. I'm not one of those people who says, I don't know what parenting is so hard. It's hard. Because you've got to make sure that you remember this is a little life. But we're sitting at that table. We're doing homework. And again, at 7 years old, we had to have the drug conversation with drugs. It was important for me to invest that time and make sure it's age appropriate to share these things with them. Why? Because I want him to grow up and know that he can come to me. And daddy might not know every single answer, but he's willing to have the uncomfortable conversation. Wasn't uncomfortable for me? Not at all. I don't really care. I'd rather have him learn at home than learn it out in the street with somebody who doesn't know exactly what the heck they're talking about. It's not that I have an extensive experience with it, but I have had some run-ins. That is definitely a whole nother conversation. But by me investing that time, just think about how that pays off. I talk to the different parents and they're like, oh, I can never do that. I can never do that. And I get it, right? I get that part. But I'm investing that time because I am expecting. I understand the value of that. My mother invested that time into me. Absolutely one of the best things to education she could have ever given me by telling me the truth when I needed to know the truth and when I asked the question. And that is a real big tenet for me in my practice. If you ask me a question, I will always tell you the truth no matter what. But I invest that time. Therefore, I am putting that, I'm investing the time. I'm investing in energy. I'm investing just the commitment to make sure that whatever I want to see grow needs that. You got to water it. You got to nurture it. You got to let that seed germinate. But it's the same exact thing when it comes to raising your standards. If you can tell me every single cast of a person who's on a Netflix show, you can tell me everything. I love Stranger Things. Make no mistake. I got my things that I like to watch. But you can't tell me, when was the last time you sat back and invested into yourself and you wonder why, hey, why am I not getting better? I don't understand. My resume doesn't look good. You're not taking the time. You're not. And if you are taking the time, are you being productive while you're doing it? Nothing in this world is going to come with you without you taking some time. I know it's tough. I know it's hard. I have two businesses and a child. I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just trying to talk to you about the fact that I recognize that time is at a premium, but I want things to change in my life. And as I said yesterday on You, Me, and I, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. That's why we're building on this series. And this is why it's so important, because when you come into a relationship and you know you've been investing your time, even when it has sucked, even when it has been hard, look at the expectation that you're setting for persons without you even having to say that. Like, look how that raises your level up, and then you're going to start attracting different people. You attract what you are. I'm hardworking, I'm focused, I'm disciplined. I am a human being. I make mistakes and I own those mistakes, but I'm always trying to do better. All of those things are being conveyed the way that I talk, the way that I carry myself. I have no choice but to attract what I want. And you will attract some things you don't want, but boundaries are what I always exercise to make sure, thank you so much, but have a good one. I'm not interested in that. But I am always working on those universal laws of growth. Put the time in, put the effort in, recognize it. And if you aren't getting what you want, maybe you need to start considering how you are spending your time. If it's not looking at, even if it's about developing your personality some more, how much time have you spent doing that? How much time have you spent investing in working on your soft skills? Soft skills are one of the things that after that big shutdown, every single person is working, not every, but a large number of people are struggling with anxiety. Who wants to work on interpersonal skills when you're worried about being in public or you just having feelings towards that? I'm not saying to make fun of people, but when we got these issues going on, it's really difficult sometimes to work around those, but we have got to practice. I know we got different circumstances, but we have to have a plan to overcome, because otherwise, if you know what's wrong, remember, you can only have a blind spot once, right? So now it becomes a decision, but what can you start making incremental progress on? You don't need to go and read 75 self-help books or go out there and just clean your entire refrigerator out and get all new diet stuff. No, but start small. But you have to invest your time wisely. We only get so much time. Don't spend it complaining. Spend it working towards something. You see, a lot of us spend more time talking about what's wrong and what the world isn't doing to us and what it's not doing for us, but we don't spend enough time doing anything different than just saying what's wrong. Spend your time wisely and watch how that thing will grow. If you want this stock that will have easy a 50% return, easy 50% return, and you don't even have to wait for this yearly, this is something that will happen monthly, weekly, daily. Trust me, especially if you invest in your time wisely, it will grow substantially higher. Take the time, invest. It's not magic. If you want to manifest it, do the work. And if you want it to be, it's got to be up to me. And me is you. Go out there, get what you want, stay happy, healthy. I'm going to see you on Monday. We're going to be talking about relationships. That sexy subject, that subject that all of us get excited about. Have some really great tips for you, some really great stories. And also we got interviews coming up with some really prominent people. One other person, she knows who she is. She is like everything. She's super awesome. I can't even say her name, but get out there, grow, go, and look for Mo. I'll see you all next week. Take it easy. Signing off.